Hey guys, Dev here, and I've been getting a lot of requests for heroic guides. Hey Dev, when's the next heroic guide? Hey Dev, heroic guide, when? So finally decided to get around to it, and today we're going to be checking out heroic ramps. Okay, so if you haven't checked it out yet, I do have a normal ramps guide, and that kind of covers every single mob, all their abilities, and how to pull it in normal mode. So this is going to be a short add-on to that video, so I suggest you start there. I'll put a link in the description. So haven't watched that, start there, come back, watch this afterwards, and this is going to be talking about the differences in heroic mode. So to begin with, what kind of gear are you looking for? So as a plate tank, you kind of want to have a minimum of about 10,000 health, and you 100% want to be defense capped, which is 485 for heroics, 5 below the raid cap. Starting with those stats is super important. You don't want to come in too early because these mobs do hit really hard, and in ramps there is a major mortal strike that runs throughout the dungeon. Most packs have one of these mortal strike mobs in. So you need enough health to survive until the mortal strike falls off and then get topped up by the healer properly. So before you even get into the dungeon, we need to talk about group comp. So one of the best things you can do for your group is bring a hard CC. So that includes something like a mage, a rogue, or a hunter. Warlocks can do it with seduce as well, but it's not as reliable because they have to get that pet out. They also have to have good pet control. And basically for your first time through, let the group know, hey guys, this is my first heroic. We'll be taking it a little bit slow today. If you can bring, one or two friends in, if you have a healer friend or a DPS friend, that's going to help you a lot, help with your confidence, and make the run go smoothly. Okay, so let's jump into a dungeon now. I've got this recording of me doing some heroic ramps. This is when I was at slightly lower gear level than where I am at now, so it's probably a good little benchmark to go over. So the first pull we're going to look at is the 2 Hungerers, and this has 2 Hungerers and it has a Ravener. So I'm just going to go over the key abilities in this, because obviously I'm assuming you've watched the other video at this point. So the Ravener has a kidney shot, and getting stunned by him while you tank the 2 Hungerers is going to be pretty rough. So I'd suggest bringing the Hungerers back. If you're super sketchy on your gear, this is where I'd do your first CC. Be very wary though, Const is going to break any CCs, so just think about your positioning when you're pulling things back, try and communicate with your group. If you can get on Discord, that's going to make a massive difference to your group's communication. So 2 Hungerers die first, watch out for the kidney shot. What I normally like to do is kidney onto the Ravener, and I spend a lot of time doing this, especially at lower gear levels. If he's stunned, obviously he can't kidney you. So I highly suggest pulling back as much as you can so you don't end up with chain pulls. You really need to watch the Ravener that patrols with the 2 dogs. So bring the pack before him back onto the bridge. Also something to note in ramps, the Raveners have a really large pull radius, much bigger than any other mobs. So they will social other packs from a far way away. So here you see me using the Hodge onto the Ravener, just prevents him from stunning me, reduces the damage coming in. If you're a dwarf as well, you can stone form the bleeds. So in these next packs where you've got Destroyer plus 2 other mobs, the Destroyer is sheepable, and if you are at lower gear levels, that would be my suggested method of killing them. If you're a little bit more comfortable with your gear, just mark the Destroyer skull and just nuke it down. Here you see me hodging the Destroyer in this pack, so that's just to prevent the Mortal Strike or slow the Mortal Strike from coming out. When the Mortal Strike does go off there's only 2 mobs up, that just makes it a little bit easier on the healer. If you're super low gear level, I highly recommend hard CCing these, so using your mage, your hunter trap. Take the other 2 mobs out. The Mortal Strike in itself isn't deadly, but when you're getting hit in the face by 3 mobs at low gear levels and taking 50% less healing, that's where it gets pretty bad. So through the next packs, we're just marking the dogs up, get them down first. They've got the nasty bleed effect that we don't want to stack too high. And the ranged pack with all the scryers in can be line of sight pulled using the right hand wall to bring that back to us. So once we get to the big circular part of the ramparts where the boss patrols, we want to just hug on the left hand side, and we need to be very careful here when we pull the Raveners that we're only pulling them from the left hand wall. If you pull them from the middle, they will chain pull the packs on the right, and I've seen a lot of inexperienced tanks when I've been on my priest do just that. So the boss is safe to pull when it's very close to packs. I normally grab it between the two packs and bring it back. This boss really doesn't differ that much from heroics. It's probably one of the easiest heroic bosses in the game. So just make sure you get those 2 adds down first. and you're really not going to have too much problem with this boss. There's harder bosses on normal than what this one does on heroic. I go over all the mechanics in my normal ramps video, so we won't go over them here. Okay, so once you get to the big open area where the dungeon opens up, the goal here is to pull the roaming dog pack when it's directly in front of the doors, followed by the 2 packs to the right, and that will be all of the trash packs that need clearing here. And we're going to head over to the second boss. So the second boss, Omar, does have a major change going from normal to heroic, and that's the curse is now changed to an undispellable debuff, and its damage is amplified 10 times over. So this is super important here, why you don't want to bring too many melee to this, and it is this boss here. You basically can take a singular tick of the debuff before you're going to die. So you want to have your melee positioned at max melee range, and then you want to have your range positioned around the room with plenty of space between them. My general strategy for this boss is to nuke the boss and control and just tank the ads. If you have lower DPS, you will need to stay on top of those ads. Okay, for the last boss, the only difference here is he's going to add an AoE fear. So you need to be prepared for that. Fire Res Aura is still recommended, and if you did have any of the Dark Iron stuff left over enchanted with Fire Res, so you're looking at like, you know, the 45-50 Fire Res per piece, you may want to consider using it here. More of this fight damage comes from the fire than the actual melee. You expect to see about 60% fire damage and 40% melee damage. Just make sure you're strafing out of those fires quickly and efficiently, and you shouldn't have any problems. So guys, like I said, this was just supposed to be just a little add-on to that normal guide that I did. Hope you enjoyed the video today. Hope you have the confidence now to go into heroic ramparts. It's not too difficult, definitely a great place to start. If you've got any questions, drop them in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, feel free to do that, guys. Like the video if it helped, and I'll see you all in the next one.